This is rock and roll.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That was the Just Nuts Band. And now from WVOX Radio and host of tonight's episode of This is Rock and Roll, Mr. Dennis Dion Nardone. Hi, Dennis.
Yes, yes, yes. How are you, Mary?
I'm good tonight.
Ready for another edition of This is Rock and Roll?
Yes, I am.
Look how beautiful. Take a look. Put her on camera. I love the bees, man. They look great. So I am ready tonight, and I'm excited once again because we have another Bronxite, Columbus High School, and man, he did a song with his group, sold almost 3 million records, and great guy, great performer, and fine gentleman, and I love introducing that group, man, because they're great guys. But anyway, I am ready. Let's bring him out. Once again, he's from the Bronx. Let's say hello to Mr. Lenny Dell of the Dememsions. Come on out, Lenny.
How are you, Dennis?
Good to see you. Come on, take a seat, take a seat, take a seat there. Let's get rocking and rolling. Thank you for coming down. This is rock and roll.
It's my pleasure.
And we just worked together not too long ago in White Plains?
Yep, we were at Stepanak.
I love introducing you guys.
Thank you.
And it's something extra special. All due respect to all the groups, and you know, I love bringing them all out. And but something about you guys, I don't know why. Maybe Tommy Clemente, maybe it's you. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for coming down. You're a Bronx guy.
I'm glad you feel that way. It's nice to hear that.
Yeah, Ben. And Bronx guy, right? Pelham Parkway?
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Just like our good friend John Coos.
That's right. Johnny Coos and I, went to school together, and it's great to be a Bronx boy.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah.
Well, I lived on Laconia Avenue between Allerton and Mace, and that was about 5 blocks away from Pelham Parkway.
Oh, so you went to the Gino's Cafe too?
Absolutely.
And the
White Castle.
The White Castle.
Yep.
Huh?
Yep. Sure did.
When's the last time you went to White Castle?
I can't even remember. It's too many years ago, Dennis.
Yeah. All right, now let's talk about the Dimensions. Did it start in the Columbus High School or after? Talk about your singing days. Let's go back to your singing days.
Well, that's exactly when it started. Howie Margolin, who was the original baritone in the Dimensions, and myself, we were all part of a special vocal group in Christopher Columbus called the Melody Singers. And so we...
Was that a choir or a doo-wop?
Well, no, it was a chorus.
Oh, okay.
It was, let's say it was the elite chorus of Christopher Columbus. We used to do, auditorium, concerts for the alumni and also for the parents or whatever. But that's exactly where we met. He was a baritone, I was a second tenor. We got to know one another, and one thing led to another. And Howie and I decided once we became friends.
How old are you? 15, 14?
Actually 15 years old.
Okay.
Probably about 15 when we met. And we decided down the road that we were going to just work as kind of like as a duo.
When obviously you knew you had a voice and singing second tenor, first tenor. When did you discover you had this voice? I like to ask the performers, the singers who come on the show, how did you discover, when did you discover, when you're singing at 8 years old in front of the Italian family there?
Well, my mother always told me that I was singing from very early on. I would, by the way,
Were you singing like Mario Lanza?
No.
Connie Francis?
No, nothing like that. But believe it or not,
yeah.
You know who was a real big influence for me when I was a kid? Gene Autry.
Okay.
Gene Autry singing Back in the Saddle Again.
My influence was Roy Rogers, but I couldn't.
Well, I'm just talking about...
Yeah, but I couldn't sing like him.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But Gene Autry was a big influence, and I would be singing Back in the Saddle again, you know, and...
Hey, before I forget, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
That's okay, okay.
Because I don't want to forget this. You're a pianist.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, how old were you when you started that? And you're like a classical pianist, right?
Well, I started playing piano when I was 9 years old. So I was a piano player.
You didn't start playing the accordion first, like most Italians.
But the truth of the matter is, I was a piano player long before I realized that, you know, I could sing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I guess maybe the reality is, I really thought that maybe I had something to offer vocally. Yeah. Maybe when I was about 12 or 13 years old. That started to kick in.
Now, do you like singing the ballads more than hard rock and roll, let's say?
Well, yeah. If you...
Because that's what you're known for, right?
Yeah. If you think about the Dimensions, we were really known much more as a ballad group. And I'll be honest with you, a tremendous influence for the Dimensions was Jimmy Beaumont and the Skyliners.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
You were a big fan of them?
Big fan. Howie and I loved that group, and of course, they were famous before we even came onto the scene.
Right.
You know, but as a matter of fact, with the Dimensions, you know, we talked about that choral group, the Melody Singers, where Howie and I met. Well, eventually, just to make a long story a little shorter, we decided after the two of us were like singing harmony together that we were going to extend the group, but we were so influenced by the Skyliners, Jimmy Beaumont and Janet, you know, the great soprano that he had in the group.
Yeah. Well, Skyliners' big hits sort of late 50s, you guys came on early 60s, right?
Exactly, 60 actually,
60.
You know, was Over the Rainbow.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, I said to Howie, I said, you know what we need to do, Howie? We love the Skyliners. We love that sound. We love the fact that they were classy. They were had a very classy sound. It was almost like what I call doo-wop pop. You know, it was more leaning toward pop and doo-wop than just doo-wop itself.
Yes.
We liked that idea, so we tried to really frame ourselves after.
Did you start singing like Pennies from Heaven or How Much, some of their songs, or even the big hits?
We would do that, but the truth of the matter is we wanted to extend the group, the Dimensions, other than just being Howie and myself. So, and the Dimensions weren't even a thought process at that point. I'll tell you that story also.
Okay. But hold that story. Okay. Because I just want to say, Lenny Dell, original lead singer, the original lead voice of the Dimensions. We have an original rock and roll. This is a rock and roll cup. Mary look lovely today.
I'm going to give you a mug.
Hi, Mary.
How are you?
Beautiful Mary.
Yes, she has a star.
Mary.
And
thank you so much.
Good luck with This is Rock and Roll.
How about this? Yeah. That is really nice.
Anyway, Lenny Dell, Dimensions, and let me read this to you. This is what people think of your voice. Lenny Dell has the uncanny ability to take a timeless standard and be able to recreate the song with a distinctive Dimensions flair that is unmatched. He has the rare ability to locate the heart of a song and touch the heart of audiences in a way that is mesmerizing. I mean, that's great stuff.
That's beautiful
to talk about you. I mean, and that's what you do when you're on stage. And maybe that's part of why I say I love bringing you guys out.
Thanks.
And because that's what you do to the audience.
Thank you.
And all due respect to everyone, because all the other groups are great.
Of course.
But there's something else. All right, 1960, Over the Rainbow. Of course, that's a big 1939 hit. What made you guys to say, let's record the song? Sells almost 30 million records. Big hit. What brought that about?
Well, there was another group when Howie and I were in the Melody Singers. There was another group, a senior group that were just graduating at that time, and we were still younger. You know, at the time.
When you say senior group, you're not talking about us old people. No. You're talking about high school.
High school. But there was a group that used to, that before we started our class, our choral group class, there was another group, you know, maybe 2 years older than us, that were there before us, you know, whatever. And they actually had a doo-wop group, and they sang a version of Over the Rainbow that Howie and I heard, a fast version of Over the Rainbow, very, very fast, very doo-woppy or whatever. But Howie and I looked at one another and said, wow, you know, that would be a great song to, like, you know, maybe...
Where's Howie these days?
Howie lives in Florida, actually.
Is he still
in Tampa Bay, Florida.
Does he still sing?
Yes, he's on occasion.
Oh, okay.
On occasion, as a matter of fact, we were in California together. The Dimensions were inducted into the Doo-Wop Hall of Fame.
Beautiful.
And I got a hold of Howie, and we've remained very, very close friends all these years. And he was on stage with me to be honored.
Yeah.
When we did that, and
Very nice.
also sang Over the Rainbow because there were about 3,000 people at this concert. As well as the inauguration of, you know, getting into the Hall of Fame.
Okay, Lenny, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's go to the video.
Sure.
Let's go to the monitor and Over the Rainbow, Lenny Dell and the Dimensions, and we'll watch the monitor and let's see and let's hear, hopefully, Over the Rainbow.
Take you over the rainbow.
Over the Rainbow, 1960. Lenny Dell, our guest tonight, Lenny Dell and the Dimensions, and that's good stuff. That is real good stuff, and you got to be proud of it. After all these years, here we are, 2018, still on stage. That wasn't too long ago, and in fact, we just worked together a few weeks ago,
That's right.
and the audience gave you standing ovation for Over the Rainbow. All right, now 1963, My Foolish Heart.
Yes.
Big hit for you.
Yes, we moved from Mohawk Records to Coral Records, and that was really our first record release on Coral, and actually, My Foolish Heart became the title song of our first album also.
Right, right.
You know, and we Me being the piano player in the group, the musician in the group, I was going through songs to try to figure out what we wanted to do now that we were with Coral Records, and I really did want a song that very, very much was like Over the Rainbow in arrangement for, you know, and being like a Dimension type, you know.
Now I'm going to ask you a silly question. Back in 1960 when you recorded it, did, what's her name? From the movie. Did she hear
Judy
it?
Garland?
Judy Garland.
Yes, believe it or not, Judy Garland.
So it's not a silly question.
No, it's not.
Okay,
it's very pertinent, as a matter of fact. Judy Garland sent a telegram to Mohawk Records congratulating us.
Do you have that copy of that?
You know what?
That should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I don't have it, but Mohawk Records had it at the time, and they kept it. And unfortunately, it kind of like fell through our hands over.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should be right there next to Janis Joplin or something. Lenny Dell, Dimensions. Now, how I mentioned how I love to introduce you guys. Apparently, Cousin Brucey, Clay Cole, all those big groups, I mean, DJs love introducing you because you were in Palisades Park, you were on Dick Clark. I mean, all those shows, you did them over and over and over again.
That's right.
So they loved having you guys there as well. And so there's something into bringing you on. And how was it doing Clay Cole and Palisades Park? Because you just did Cousin Brucey, right, a week or so ago?
That's right. We just did the Palisades Park revival at the Meadowlands.
Yeah.
With live, you know, with Cousin Brucey.
After all these years.
Great to be.
You got to feel good about it.
Great to be there. Great to be there. And the audience was very receptive.
Yeah.
Loved hearing it, you know, and it was just a great experience.
Dick Clark, American Bandstand. What kind of thrill is that?
The thrill of a lifetime. Yeah. Well, I mean, we were kids. At that time, we were only 17 years old. And
how old were you with Over the Rainbow?
17.
17.
So was Howie, and so was Marissa.
Wow.
You know, the
so
original
senior in
soprano.
high school, or you just got out?
No, well, getting back to, you know, I didn't have a chance to tell your listening audience this, but getting back to the Melody Singers at Christopher Columbus, we then asked, actually Charlie Peterson, who was our first tenor, he was part of the Melody Singers. He was the original first tenor from that choral group. And then we grabbed the whole of Marissa and asked her if she would be interested, because again, we wanted a Skyliner type sound, because we loved them so much and appreciated them so much. But Howie and I also talked about wanting to be unique in our own way, and that's why with the standards that we recorded, I came up with a lot of the off melody arrangements. And so that was like an identification for the Dimensions. And by the way, just to let you know, Howie was the one who came up with the name The Dimensions.
Oh, okay.
Spelling it D-E, not D-I, purposely.
Right, D-E.
You know, but I just wanted you to know how that...
Well, that was on my question. But all right, so let's go back to the video again. And let's go back to the Dimensions. And let's take a listen on a monitor. Once again, let's see Lenny Dell and the Dimensions.